The state capital of California, Sacramento, playing site to Wednesday night soccer. Papa Murphy's Park is always packed to capacity whenever the Republic play. These two teams near the top of the Western Conference standings. And it's a rematch of late May's U.S. Open Cup thriller. Fresno Football Club taking on Sacramento Republic for the 6th time in their competitive history. Hi everybody, Mike Watts, Devin Kerr on the call for this one. They call it the Highway 99 Derby. And it's still so young at this point, but it's a little over 100 miles between Fresno and Sacramento, a couple-hour bus ride. And Devin, when you talk with Adam Smith, it's clear he's cognizant things are getting a little lopsided in the series.
This will be the 6th match all time, make no mistake about it. It's already reached its boiling point, and he knows that he has to start getting results. It doesn't matter how the performances are going through. Take a look back on May 8th, what they were able to do when Sacramento came to town. Outplayed the Quails. Doesn't matter. Sam Warner paid and pay in the dying moments of that game. Adam Smith actually got thrown out. Not happy about that. And then the Open Cup win, 122nd minute. Stefano Bonomo made them pay. They moved on to the next round. At some point in time, if Fresno wants to have a say in this quote-unquote rivalry, they got to put 3 points up.
Well, Sacramento has been there, done that, won the T-shirt. Fresno just their 2nd year, hoping that they can follow in Sacramento's impressive footsteps over the last half-decade. Sacramento and Fresno near the top of the Western Conference. Will one of them come away with 3 points tonight? Wednesday night soccer is coming up next. Taking the field at Papa Murphy's Park, Wednesday night soccer features a couple teams about 140 miles apart on Highway 99 in Northern California. Devin Kerr, Mike Watts on a gorgeous 82-degree night in the Californian capital. Devin, how about Sam Warner? He has been phenomenal this year, a former Stanford product.
You and I were talking about him off air, and it's the balance that the Quails finally have. We've seen in the past from the likes of Elliot Horde, rotation outside from William Bijev. But now you have the counterpart. Now you have 2 threats on opposite wings that can really help you get the run going forward. He's been consistent either side that he's been on. Loved his movements in Open Cup play as well. Felt a bit hard done in that match against Fresno that he wasn't able to get it. But again, we don't have VAR. They still get the win. This is how they're going to line up. 4-2-3-1. Ray Sari will sit next to Hayden Partain and Cami Wassa in the middle. Watch him dropping back into that false 9 position. There's Warner and Horde on the outside. And of course, the outside backs. There's 2 changes in the center backs with Kanon back in and Matt Mahoney, but the outside backs, Shannon Gomez, Jordan McCrary, so integral to this attack getting started from the back line.
Devin, 4 changes for Fresno, and Jamal Johnson not in the starting lineup, so Jackson, who missed a month, this is his 3rd game back, after an injury into the order.
2 injury spells, unfortunately. Actually went out the first time against Phoenix Rising back on April 6th in that 0-0 tie. Beautiful performance by the Foxes. Went down to 10 men. One of the better tactical things you'll see over the course of the season. Jackson is a game changer, especially on that right-hand side. Played him at the right back position, but also in the midfield, and to move him up in with Martin on the left side. Now you've got Alex Cooper back. It gives you so many different options. This is how it's going to look, we think. And we say that because Adam Smith said, I've got a couple trickeries up my sleeve. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to show my full cards. This is a pretty good look of how this could turn out. Has the ability to step more into the midfield. Kaffa can sit in that holding midfielder position, but still allow himself to explore going forward because you got 5 on the back line. All of them can occupy space in the middle of the field. And of course, Qudus Lawal just continues to hit the back of the net.
So how does this actually work out? We're going to find out. There's a couple of pieces that can move around. Martin Key among them, a holding midfielder in his U23 days with the Fuego. LA Galaxy is a youth and with the U.S. Youth National Team, but he's played on the left primarily for this Fresno side, while Sam Werner, 4 goals this year. He trained with Sacramento in 2018 and signed onto the team in 2019. Has given this crowd a lot to cheer about in the Tower Bridge Battalion. This Highway 99 derby has seen 3 consecutive Republic victories, including the Open Cup match, which saw a 122nd minute game winner by Stefano Bonomo. What's in store tonight? Wednesday night soccer underway. How can you not be excited about this in the Western Conference? Sacramento and Fresno from Papa Murphy's Park. Both teams 7 wins on the year. Sacramento are unbeaten on the road. They've been good home and away over the course of this season. Gomez able to get on the outside of Ellis Hayden, and an early cross is headed wide. Cochran laid off his line. And Sacramento, a good opening salvo here with Bonomo, instead of going 122 minutes in trying to grab it in the first.
As a forward, watch him really attack this ball. Questionable movement or lack thereof of CJ Cochran not coming off his line, chooses to stay home. We had Mickey Daly, who was matched up against the big forward up top. That's what you want to do as a forward, just drive to the goal, throw your body at it, especially when the goalkeeper stays home, pushes it just wide.
Bounds out towards Simon Elliott, 45 years old, his 2nd year at the helm of Sacramento. Native of New Zealand with 69 caps for their senior national team. Sent away by Cohen, and off the foot of Hiroki Kurimoto. Martin knocked it wide. Kurimoto on the slide. Decent hold-up play, but the outlet seeking to unleash Werner came up short. Turned over in midfield. Iwasa. Iwasa. It's behind Partain. Devin, I think you got this Fresno lineup exactly right.
Nailed it, huh?
Yeah.
It's funny because you and I were talking and said, I had you look at the board. I said, what do you think? You go, well, you could do this, you could do this. I said, I know, I agree with you. This is just, I feel like this is the way that it could play out, and immediately you can see the look that you get. And we'll explain it a bit further. With Del Campo sitting on that back line in the middle. He's the conductor. Sam Strong in front. Mickey Daly just to the left of him. And then the outside backs are the key marquee looks you want to look at. Alex Cooper and Zach Ellis Hayden, because they can play that high line so dominant on the offensive side of things, and then win their individual battles on the defensive side of the ball. Elijah Martin and Jackson, already you're seeing them tuck inside. That's the look Adam Smith talked about with Elijah Martin, where that holding midfielder role from his youth days allows him to really be utilized in a different manner when he pushes him up into the midfield as opposed to a marking back on the back line.
Ray Sari off of Ellis Hayden. turned over to Kaffa. Is it over the top of the back line? Pushed by Strong. Luol. And Kaffa trying to toe poke that in Jackson's direction. Finds Cohen. Well, Sacramento with the best chance of the early minutes of this game in the first minute. History, Devin, says there aren't going to be a lot of goals in this game. These are two teams with such impressive defensive structure. It's in the DNA of Simon Elliott and Adam Smith. A losing team in this rivalry. There's never been a draw. Has not scored in one of these games. It's the 6th meeting all time.
Recent run of form for both of these teams would tend to have you think another direction with regard to the goals. We're chatting about the run of form for Sacramento Republic. Fresno finally getting out in that 3-0 victory impressively against El Paso Locomotive. You have to track back to into June. 1-1 matchup versus OKC Energy FC, where it was only a 2-goal affair, 1-1 draw. Tale of a different tape for Sacramento Republic all the way back to the beginning of May against that 4-1 loss to Reno that of course they would avenge in Open Cup play.
Jackson for Ellis Aiden, sliding toward the penalty spot.
Everything else has been so up and down. 4-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2-1, 3-0. It's been all over the place.
Here's Juan Pablo Kaffa. We were told that he's handled it really professionally. He moved out of the starting lineup. Too many draws for Adam Smith's liking. His captain takes a seat. Really did change the game in the 3-0 win against El Paso last time out. As this for Kaffa gets steered out, and it'll be a corner for Kaffa and Fresno. And the thing is, Devin, I don't think there's any player that can bypass a line with a pass as well as Juan Pablo Kaffa in the championship. He is a game breaker.
It's the manner in which he does it as well. It's not that 5-yard ball. It's not that 50-yard ball. It's all of it. I mean, you have to take every single lottery pick that you can have and just hope that when he pulls out the ping pong ball, it's got your number on it. And he's capable of that.
Kaffa steered away. Tap by Kurimoto.
His biggest issue is what's the workload like on his body? And can you manage that appropriately? With all of the players and injuries they've had, it's been difficult to not put him into the mix a little bit more. And you would initially think, okay, well, if you slide him into the holding midfielder role, there's not as much running. Yeah, okay. Tell that to Seth Moses and how that works out. You know, just a massive amount of ground to cover when you play the 6. So, okay, you push him a bit higher. It's really hard to get him involved in the attack if you play him as a second forward or a false 10 sitting right underneath Kudos the wall. He's got to have to do a lot of work off the ball to find that space. So right in the middle of the field where you can surround him a bit more with an Elijah Martin, let Jackson tuck in a little bit, and then the defenders behind him, where if he does get exposed a bit, he does have the coverage.
Cooper, great move, and lifted across. Runs away from Kaffa, who's clapping for the ball. Say this about Kaffa, though. We were told 18-year-old determination and a 34-year-old body. He had a phenomenal year in Tulsa's first year in America and a very good opening salvo in Fresno's expansion season last year. The numbers this year have not been all that promising. One of those few guys that can really change the entire dynamic of the game with one touch of the ball. Gomez. Gomez again. A couple years ago was in Pittsburgh. Time with NYCFC. See Dekel Kainan back in the order for Sacramento. Such a key cog in the machine for FC Cincinnati. Ball for Bonomo, snapped up by Cochran.
Bonomo trying to get involved once again. Saw him just inside the 60-second mark. Ball whipped in, trying to beat the near post this time. Matt Mahoney, one of the changes on the back line, trying to play the distributor role.
Put back in play by Mahoney. Jackson. Total 5 changes for this Sacramento order. Team that fell 2-0 against Reno last time out. Adam Smith jumps off the bench. Disagrees with the foul. Of course, Devin, you and I watched that game back, and there's Adam Smith, the former Sacramento assistant coach, time in Portland as well. Now the head man in Fresno in his second year. Sacramento did not deserve to lose that game.
No.
But what you deserve and what you get, and Simon Elliott will be the first man to say it, don't always line up.
Look at their match. It's just the last match. And we felt going into the conference call with him, you said, Devin, is it fair to say that based upon their performance, they probably deserve better? I said, yeah, they were the better team. They had better movements, better chances. They couldn't close it out. Sometimes that's how the game goes. Goals win games.
Cooper looking for the wall, skips across. Ellis Hayden. Cross headed back toward the wall by Kurimoto. And the key crucial moment of that game for Sacramento was the missed penalty. Ultimately, early in the second half.
Legit right at the start of the second half. That really took some of the air out of the movements going forward.
47th minute from Owasso. Werner offside. Former College Cup most outstanding player.
Interestingly enough, a few weeks ago leading into the Open Cup match against the Foxes, Simon said that brought Sam Werner up, asked him a few questions, and guy wins back-to-back national championships at Stanford under Jeremy Gunn. And all the players they've shelled out. Drew Skundridge part of that run. And just kind of talked about the process of him coming out of college, and he said, you know, he just didn't have the best year in 2017. 5 goals and 5 assists in 17 appearances is not bad.
It's not bad, and he end up winning most outstanding player in the College Cup when it mattered most.
Passed over in the draft and did not get that look. Went overseas, traveled around, and that's a guy who was a Timbers Academy product. Didn't get the look from his hometown club. Ends up in Applewell with a trial there, and finally makes his way back over. And everybody's always wondering about that journey, but to your comments before, played with them last year, had a little opportunity in preseason in Sacramento Republic. You keep an eye on someone, it comes back around. It's the biggest, smallest world. We always hear from all the coaches how, oh, I kept on him here, I knew about him here. In every way, seems to be 6 degrees of separation as to how that ended up at the club they were at.
Hoffa feathering a ball over the top, fell to the wall. The wall got the shot away, lifted up. Jackson! Ball ricochets back out toward Gomez. All the way back to Hoffa. Comes to Ellis Hayden. Great back heel by Jackson. Didn't quite come off. Owasso, sorry. Ray Sorry is a commentator's nightmare, Devin.
Explain.
You feel like you're apologizing all the time.
he should apologize for the way he plays. Sometimes he's so good. And the kid is tactician on the ball. One of the bigger pickups for this squad in the offseason. Felt like he got lost a little bit. The Seattle Sounders 2, now Tacoma Defiance. How about this ball coming back across? Just out, little side volley here. Oh, deflection off the near post. Curtis Lawal releases it, and then Jackson, man, who we said could be the difference maker. Nice little pressure as Dekel Kainan sliding back over.
Kaffa, Jackson, Kurimoto, and Lawal running down the middle of the field instead, bypassing both, bouncing over to Cooper. Plenty of white shirts in the area for Fresno. Elijah Martin. Sam Strong, his 4th start of the year. Turn that over. Things are going to get real interesting at center back for Fresno in about 2 weeks when James Geffrard returns after helping to lead Haiti to the semifinal of the CONCACAF Gold Cup and going toe-to-toe with Mexico. All of a sudden, you've got 4 starting caliber guys that deserve chances to play, center backs for Fresno.
It's quite interesting to showcase how that comes about with Geffrard stepping in. Brilliant performance all tournament long, and especially last night. You and I were able to get an opportunity to see him and felt like did very well on the back line. Of course, I'm sure Mark Lowry would have something to say about his center back disappearing, and Metchak Jerome with picking up the injury. That gave the opportunity to Gems to step in, showcase himself on the global stage. One door closes, another one opens.
And that's part of why there was trade in the Western Conference this week. This will run all the way up. A couple trades this week. I know you were interested in the one in the West. In the East, Tampa Bay and Louisville swapped Lakiem Kosana for Antoine Hopino. Hopino, a well-known commodity in Reno. And then obviously El Paso Dev picking up a little depth defensively.
Metchak Jerome coming over from the Roughnecks, and Calvin Resend will get his opportunity to head on to Tulsa. The Louisville-Tampa Bay trade makes sense. It's each player that exchanges clubs fits that system better. Antoine fits much better under Hackworth, can play a bit more with the ball at his feet. Lucky will get an opportunity to be more direct under Neil Collins, and with a team behind him that defensively you can take a few more chances going forward.
Ball toward Bonomo. Just needed a little touch. Goal kick coming for Fresno, and another dangerous moment for Bonomo leading the line for Sacramento.
Immediately, Martin Del Campo talking to his outside backs. Felt like not enough pressure being applied. He's right. Iwasa rotates out from the middle. Quick little look up. Actually turns behind him. Can't believe all the space he has. Puts it right where it's supposed to be, but it's shielded. Bonomo can't get the touch on it as Del Campo applies just a bit of pressure on the front side to shield him off.
And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Moses Makende fits in with El Paso. Does feel like the kind of guy who fits really well into what Mark Lowry is trying to do.
Can play with the ball at his feet, and they're pretty thin right now with their defensive unit, especially as we just talked about Metchak Jerome going down. So now they get an opportunity to kind of provide a bit more depth, especially because they've moved James Kiffey into much more of an attacking role in that outside back position. They can now move him up into midfield, play him in the outside wing, which we've seen before, and still have the opportunity to have reinforcements on the bench if need be.
All lobbed over the top again. His direct play has provided some scary moments for Fresno. Ball back across toward Werner, lifted away Ellis Hayden. Jackson. Shifted away from Sari. Kurimoto was an MVP in the lower divisions in Japan. Impressed in a trial, went home, came back, and Fresno's found a diamond in the rough in Kurimoto, who was playing for Honda, actually had a job with Honda as part of all that and gave up that security from play in America. been a game changer of late for Fresno. Shifted away by Ramon Martin Del Campo. Toward Kurimoto. Back to the halfway line. Jackson. Sorry, got away. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Jordan McCrary. Back to Cohen. An embarrassment of riches again for Sacramento in goal. So good this year. Free kick for the Republic. They won the 2014 USL Championship final. Four score and 7 preckies ago.
Is he still out in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken?
Last I checked, he and Jordan Morris have a good bond there. Gomez. Effort toward the back post, lofted over Bonomo. Tenan. Hayden sent that into the stands. Sorry. Excellent ball, header right at Cohen. That backdoor run by Elliot Horde. Nearly a drive-by right into the net.
It gives you the ability we talked about with the outside midfielders to rotate side to side. Pretty much stayed traditional so far. Lovely movement coming out of the middle. Said that Ray Sari was probably one of the bigger pickups for Sacramento in the offseason. That's why. Diligent in the middle of the field as their destroyer at certain points in time. But remember how good he is on the offensive side of things. Always the spark that got the Tacoma Defiance going for the past few years, and now an opportunity to employ it under Simon Elliott's squad.
Say this about Elliot Horde. He hasn't scored a goal yet. That's the second time he's made that run on a cross from the left-hand side. Something to maybe keep an eye on. Referee was going to let that play out. It is a foul from Luol. Wassa in pursuit. Ellis Hayden. Jackson playing deep. Excellent work from Bonomo, and a laser at Cohen, or rather Cochran. Pressure building from Sacramento. Lined in for Horde. Slide by Bonomo came up empty. Chance here for Fresno to get through. Jackson running down the middle of the field. And this ball hit to the back post. And whittles wide. It's a long run forward.
Why not, though? Alex Cooper coming all the way back in to get involved. Another one coming back from injury. And you just wonder, can you test that hamstring? Hayden Partain thinks so. That's an opportunity here to just put it down on the back post. It was unfortunate going forward. Cutis had already come all the way back to help get this run started. And then Jackson didn't know if he should cut near post, rotate to the back post. Does the right thing to just maintain the run going forward to give a secondary option. They were looking for a third one, which really would have been the best look. Swinging all the way back across.
Devin, I have to ask you, name this song. Name this tune. Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Are you for real? Oh, you make the producer cry. You can apologize another time.
Ellis Hayden. Out away from Ellis Hayden. You're an Outcast fan, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
There's much to discuss going further deep into my life, and we can start with my hip-hop roots. I promise you that. It stretches back further than the Mayflower.
You know, breakdancing is an Olympic sport now. That's a big push from Sam Strong. Obvious foul. Still arguing his case.
This is always going to be in the wrong there. Sam Strong all over. Bonomo drops all the way back in. It's the midfield three of Hayden Partain, Cami Wassa. We've seen some individual movements so far, though not some of the same pretty things we saw out of the triangle coming out of that Reno game. Yes, I know they lost 2-0. I was quite impressed with some of the different looks that they've given so far this year. With Partain and Sarri quite traditional in their movements. I mean, Sarri really sitting just in front of us on this near side, Partain on the far, and Wassa just hanging out on the 10. Makes it a bit easier to track in the middle of the field.
Sacramento loading up again in the 29th minute. Horde with the service, winning a throw for Republic FC. A touch from Cochran, and Owasa was sniffing. Owasa again. Werner. Obviously, the Central Valley has its rivalry. Northern California, Highway 99 derby. The list of California teams will grow either next year or 2021. Warren Smith, who helped architect this Sacramento franchise at the beginning, joining forces with Landon Donovan, who I don't think needs an introduction. San Diego is the latest USL Championship expansion team. Gomez levels it off, and the ricochet. There's an appeal for a handball. It's going to be a corner over Partain's. Continued discussion with the referee.
Dan Partain tried to hit this first time on that left foot of his, but even as it comes in, hands are right next to the body. Never, ever is this going to be pointed to the spot. Everybody's so high and mighty with the rule changes and unnatural movements. Those are always tucked in next to the torso. Great decision by the referee.
Service launched across, a little swipe from Cochran. On. Prairie for Horde. This ball whipped across and all the way out. So CJ Cochran will take a goal kick here. Devin, in talking with Adam Smith, a former goalkeeper coach for Portland, he was brought in to be the #1. That was without question. The goalkeeper last year retires. They had brought him in on a 4-game loan stint from Nashville. And he sat down with them last week and said, hey, we've got guys that are up for mid-season awards, right? Why aren't you? And it wasn't a negative. He's played well for the vast majority of the year. He's played up to expectation, lighting a little fire under CJ Cochran, who really just needed games to take the next step.
I like how that conversation continued. And Cochran kind of looks at him bright-eyed, and Adam turns him and says, you are good enough to play at the next level. You are good enough to push this squad and be the main guy back there. But I need a bit higher of a bar set. And he started to do that. I mean, we've seen it recently, their ability to shut out some of these squads. But you've already seen it earlier on in this game. Some of that doubt creep in. Josh Cohen gives a bit of doubt for the home squad, where he comes off his line, and instead of coming with 2 hands and tucking it away, it's a 1-arm, pushes the deflection out in front of him.
Falls well for Partain! Ball's good! Turns it hard and kept out by Cochran. Nervy moment for Cochran, who got just enough. Momentum didn't carry it over the line.
This is why he can be their MVP on that back line. When this ball gets hit, watch it dip just at the end. There's enough English coming from Partain to just push him off kilter. The goalkeeper has to account for it. Now, when you're tracking back here, you're already trying to center yourself. It dips away from him and ducks right at the end of it. Cam Owasa coming in just at the tail end, hoping to poke it away. Cochran able to collect.
You think about it, Cochran just hasn't had the chance. He's behind Cody Lorendi, he's behind Matt Pickens. here's his chance. You're the number one. It's your job, your shirt. Gomez out wide for Werner. The pressure from Sacramento has certainly been building. Partain, McCrary. The service for Iwasa.
And one more on CJ Cochran before we don't necessarily close the door, but move on just a bit. All you Fresno fans and everybody in the USL Championship, this was a guy who Adam Smith was so distraught about last year that he lost him.
Yeah.
He wanted to keep him on loan for the remainder of the season. Just wasn't going to happen. You know, Nashville had an opportunity to utilize him, we'll say. They didn't, but to utilize him, they needed to keep goalkeepers in camp. You understand that for Gary Smith, and you want to keep challenging it because you can't have one out-and-out goalkeeper and nobody else behind him. You have to find a way to continue to push. Take a look at what's going on in Nashville this year. Of course, both of those goalkeepers doing a great job. You want to stay in the Western Conference, Carl Wazinski, Zach Lubin, those two guys. Now, Wazinski wasn't exactly at his best earlier this year, but that's another look where you have two great goalkeepers just always pushing each other to get better each and every week. Del Campo pushing Partain here, and it's not going to get better for him. Any more of that nature and almost assuredly end up in the book.
Kyle Rainish was the first-choice goalkeeper last year at the back end of his career. You think in the history of Sacramento, Evan Newton and Dom Jakobek were essentially platooning for a couple of years. Rafael Diaz is good enough to get games for many teams in this league. He's the second choice. Lofted right at Cochran. Sam Howard's gotten a few games for Fresno, the backup netminder. You can follow all the great goalkeeping foibles and heroics, the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL Championship, USL League One, MLS, UFC, and more. You can join the over 2 million sports fans where I discovered ESPN Plus. Watch the championship live every week. Sign up today, ESPNplus.com. Dev, you and I'll have the Open Cup match in Minnesota next week. New Mexico United trying to keep it going. St. Louis is at Atlanta. Copa America has been on ESPN Plus, and Peru shocking Chile tonight. Ellis Aiden whips the cross in. Now High Strong is playing.
That result's outlandish. I cannot believe that happened for Peru. Well done. Especially coming off of the roughhouser that was Brazil-Argentina last night. Game seemed to be, all bets are off. Let's 100 miles an hour, run into each other's heads, push each other around, and the referee was going to say nothing about it.
Brazil beat Argentina in the other semifinal, so it's the final in Copa America that we all expected on ESPN Plus.
Gabriel Jesus looks brilliant for what he's done for Brazil. Of course, being a Liverpool fan, it's nice to see Firmino get on the score sheet.
So, I don't know, does Argentina play Chile in the third place game or what?
Those teams are probably on the bus headed back home at this point in time. They want nothing to do with that medal. Fresno would like something to do in their attacking third, as Sacramento seems to have made camp recently.
How about Sam Strong living in the opponent's penalty area right now?
It's the movement you can get, though, where he can play the marking back position. He has played the marking back position where he goes on those long runs. Sacramento Republic have to account for someone they aren't necessarily seeing on a regular basis. Zach Ellis Hayden can tuck back in, hold the spot, while Strong pushes forward. Most of his opportunities have come on the likes of the Open Cup appearances. Adam Smith admitting that he's really growing into his career as Jackson just tucking up underneath a little bit. Matt Mahoney doesn't really get a nudge, just coming off his gyroscope a little bit. You can see him tilting towards that left side, uneven in his landing.
McCrary knocking it across. Nearly found Awasa. It's a bit behind Bonomo. Here goes the man whose nickname is Sheepdog. Samstrong knocks it in front, looking for the wall, and hooked away. Tackle Kanan. Off the back across again. Lifted away here. Sorry. Mahoney. Samstrong is legitimately playing in the center circle. Alone. I'm going to be fascinated to ask at some point about that. Gomez. Werner slides it all the way through. Coming up at halftime, we'll take you through some of the mid-season award winners or nominees, as it might be, fans' choice. News around the league, highlights, stats, what's coming up for Sacramento and Fresno. It's all coming up halftime here on ESPN 3's Wednesday Night Soccer. Martin on the ball away. McCrary will take it back for the Republic. Turned over. Bonomo there in time. The wall shoved off the ball by Kanan. Free kick, Fresno.
It's quite interesting what Adam has decided to do here with Samstrong, where he's basically gone right back into a four-back system. Callis Hayden occupying that right back position. And just allowing Daly and Del Campo to hold the fort down, as they always do, in the middle of that back line. Strong playing just underneath Qudus Lawal. Just kind of going for a walkabout. Having to run around. Always nice as a defender when you get pushed up front. Usually it's in the latter stages of the game. Utilize the height, or maybe just get a man advantage. Kurimoto and Kafa, a bit more one-dimensional in the middle of the field, going flat, allowing just the four right across to create a barrier so that Sacramento Republic don't necessarily have those lines to break down anymore. There's about a 15-minute span where they look much more threatening going forward. Still nothing to show for it.
Fresno got a great look on the second ball. Last free kick from this distance. There's no way to leap through that challenge. Mickey Daly, the former Sacramento player, is barking back at the official.
One of the biggest issues here, and I'm not asking anyone to dive at all, but if he goes down, there's a different story. You might have much more of an argument. When you come up over the back, it's very hard for the referee to say 100% this is definitively a penalty. It's a gray area there. No, not on that challenge with Zach Callis Hayden by Bonomo.
And there's Daly, who won a title with Sacramento in 2014, pushing off of Bonomo. Himself won a championship with Red Bulls too a few years ago.
He definitely gets in late on this challenge while Zach Callis Hayden tracking back. One of the long balls over the top, just trying to string Stefano. No reason to get stuck in at all. A bit of frustration boiling over for big target man up top. Undercuts him a bit. And immediately, D39HDE1 saying, I'm not having that in my house. Bonomo says, yeah, check yourself, Papa Murphy's Park. Realize your surroundings, my friend.
Hey, he sold the house.
Yeah.
or maybe renting it out, I don't know. A little more back and forth between Bonomo and Daly. Boy, it would be worth the price of admission at this point to put a camera on those two the rest of the game. They're going to be butting heads. Hopefully not literally butting heads, but... Kaffa. Ellis Aiden. Hack heel from Jackson. It's a goal kick. Devin, I thought, talking about Fresno and how they played in their last game about El Paso, 3-0 win. They blew it open in the second half. Adam Smith felt that he had to make a move at halftime. He ended up making two that changed the game. Do you feel that this game is yearning for that kind of drastic adjustment, or stay the course?
Stay the course right now. Tactically, he's already made his moves. Now it's just, can you see it out with the personnel on the field? We've really only seen this shift to the 4 flat in the middle, where Sam Strong just tucking up in front of everyone to make it 5 if need be, over the past 3 or 4 minutes. Prior to that, it was that 5-back system where you had the option for Jackson and Elijah Martin to rotate it a little bit to allow Cooper and Ellis Hayden to go forward. Unfortunately, that was counteracting them a little bit. Sacramento Republic had a lot of room to play with, and they had these triangular movements. Not that they were amazing, but they were more threatening than what we've seen recently. And now with the shift in the middle of the field, you make Kamiwasa drop back a bit deeper. The long balls have to be down into the corners. It's exactly what you're seeing. And it's much more one-on-one situations for Sacramento Republic, as opposed to the balls being whipped in or strikes from distance you were seeing opening 30, 35 minutes.
Partain. Way by Daly. Cohen trots all the way back. And they'll run all the way to Cochran.
Now, the one thing Adam Smith will have to decide is if he wants the flexibility. I'm not saying they're going to go back to it, but if you want that flexibility and the look of the 5-back system, Sam Strong stays on. If you're going to go into the 4, have to find a better striking partner for Quito Sewell than Sam Strong, with all due respect. I mean, you have Chavez sitting on the bench. There's plenty of opportunities to bring on someone. It just depends on, tactically, what looks do you want to be able to give yourself in the second half?
The answer is, if you're trying to be more attack-minded, you can find a second strike partner, Devin. But also add a 7 to the game. Bring on Jamal Johnson and have Jackson and Johnson, and whether you keep Lawal or eventually bring on a Chavez to supplement up front and go back to that 4-back that they're more known for.
Could do that. Could also bring on Basulovic if he wanted to. Sure. Slide Elijah Martin onto the back line. You still have that look with he and Alex Cooper where you could easily turn it into 5 if you wanted to. Penny for a thought at halftime of that dressing room. And of course, next week, Adam Smith will be sitting at home going, listen to these two.
Here's the halftime whistle. Devin scoreless at halftime. That is the modus operandi of the Highway 99 Derby.
Quite simplistic in the ways for Sacramento Republic. Have to find a way to get all the guys in the middle on the same page. They were much more impressive last match out for Fresno. You saw them make the changes about 5 minutes to go before halftime tactically, where they've blown it up a little bit, made it flat in the middle. They had some success going forward. How does that now carry over into the second half?
Cochran and Cohen have kept this on level terms. Another great crowd in Sacramento, par for the course. Chance in the opening minute denied. Adam Smith and Simon Elliott at this point trading tactical blows. Highlights, stats, and great candidates when we come back. It is halftime at Papa Murphy's Park, and it's salute to service night. The Republic went to Travis Air Force Base in the last few days, and they are going to swear in over a dozen Army recruits. They'll take their oath on the pitch here at halftime. Sacramento and Fresno scoreless right now. We're at the midway point for many teams in the season, though, and so it's not too soon to think who the players of the year are in the USL Championship.
Monarchs go for goal, and they find it! Opiel's gone for goal, another deflection, off the post and in! Tacoma on top, shot, and goal! What a beauty! Justin Dillon moving up the middle, he's gonna push that ball wide toward Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a first touch cross, back inside for Dillon, and a goal! Inside the 18, shot, push wide! Loose in front, it's Freighter! What a hit! He plays it into the box, headed down, and Freighter!
To Kiesewetter, Kiesewetter, in for the goal! Cross, Kiesewetter, it's in!
Asante outside the box, Asante, goal! It's Rios! It's a great cross! Daniel Rios again!
Brian Brown sends it, and it's a goal! Brian Brown,
Lubin, what a save! A second save, loose in front!
Lubin guarding the post.
denied by McCarthy.
A lot more height on it. McCarthy, a great save. On the volley. Oh, what a save. Newton again.
Collier curls, saved.
Ooh, looking for a shooting lane, coming aloft. Pipped away. He got it on frame. Olsen up to the task.
Dico with a touch. Great save, Tempakis.
Shot on. Tempakis with a great save. Nice little 1-2. Caleb Richards. Richards getting it back. Caleb Richards.
Douglas Martinez able to put it back in.
Martinez puts it back to Coffee. Goal!
Lofted ball in, Williamson.
Good build up here for Portland Timbers too. Good chance for Williamson.
Swinging away, header, Robertson, follow up in from Lobo.
Well, the header comes in, a great save and on the follow.
Outside at the top of the box, it's dangerous from there. What a fantastic finish.
Voting ongoing, USLChampionship.com. And Wednesday night soccer powers on at halftime on ESPN3, Papa Murphy's Park. Devin, get out of line, man. Corn dogs, cotton candy, not right now. You've got a job to do.
Wife's watching, I would never.
I know.
She knows I'm there.
News and notes from around the USL Championship. How about this? Martin Vasquez and Steve Trichu both out at Monarchs and Switchbacks. And Phoenix continues to win 8 straight. And how about the debut of Christian Sorto? Devin, you and I both have high respect for both Vasquez and what he did with the Monarchs youth, and Steve Trichu, who's done a lot of really good things on a limited resource for Switchbacks over the years.
It was interesting with Vasquez youth when he got appointed earlier this year. He had just signed a 5-year extension back in 2015 for that academy program, and everybody they've pushed through. For Steve Trichu, I promise you this. No hard feelings. He will find another home. The guy is too talented, too well respected in this community not to.
Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings. Most teams have reached the midway point of their season. Sacramento has not. They've got games in hand on everybody. If Fresno wins today, they only have Phoenix over top of them. Reno playing tonight as well. Sacramento will win. You're talking about a tie for 6th place with Austin losing tonight.
Austin lost tonight. New Mexico United, they're on the slide as well. And it was interesting what Troy Lesane said when asked about their recent run of form, balancing it with Open Cup play. How did you play it out? You can't rest 4. And he rests 4 of his big guys. He goes, I can't do that anymore. I have to find a way to get at least 2 of them, referencing Freighter, Sandoval, Santi Moar, and Williams as well in the middle of the field, and have to find a way with Chris Wehan to get at least 2 or 3 of them on the field. He wasn't doing that. They finally get a result in the form of a draw. Now you got to find a way to get back to your winning ways, get 3 points.
Well, Kevon Frater's passion for yellow cards is what makes that decision easy at times. Here's the upcoming Wednesday night soccer schedule. We are on a special edition Friday match. Tacoma and Monarchs on July 12th. Jamison Alave is the interim coach for Real Monarchs as he was last year. And how about what North Carolina FC has done? Not only their big announcement about a plan for a $2 billion stadium complex, but we'll get to see that young and impressive Loudoun side.
Reno, a rising star in the Western Conference as well. They're starting to put together some nice results. Orange County, Braden, he is just have a squad that continuously getting hit by the injury bug. Got to find a way to get all them healthy. Really missing Christian Duke in the midfield.
See you there, buddy. We continue our Wednesday night soccer match of the week tonight with highlights and stats from the first half of Sacramento and Fresno. This is a national broadcast, so Devin, you and I can say it. To those in the Eastern time zone, happy 4th of July. For those in the Pacific time zone, you're probably already off for the 4th of July, but not yet. Scoreless at halftime of Wednesday night soccer, Sacramento, Fresno. Let's take a look at first half highlights. Devin, we began about 35 seconds into this match as Stefano Bonomo gets the opening look. It was his goal in the 122nd minute that ended Fresno's Open Cup run. A soft target.
Just start off where he finished. Why not? Good opportunity. There's the overlapping runs we talked about from the outside backs. Shannon Gomez, Jordan McCrary, his counterpart on the right side of the pitch that love to get those balls down into the channel. Really give him an opportunity to go 1v1 with the outside backs of Fresno Foxes. Inside a minute, they get a look. Bonomo can't get it. Good stuff by Cochran here. Was a bit wishy-washy, to be honest, with his decision-making in the opening 45 minutes. He gets this one right coming off his line early. It would be questionable over the rest of the 43 minutes plus as to what he was capable of doing. One of the best chances for Fresno as this ball makes its way back out. Kudo Sawal has a go. The deflection pops itself up. Jackson on the side volley comes off the near woodwork. And then from there, it was just not the best, to be honest, from Fresno going forward. Give all the credit, to be honest, to Sacramento Republic and how they figured out a way to just get those movements going that we've seen so many times in the past 3 weeks on this nice little run they've been. Outside of the loss to Reno, which, to be fair, good performance. Nice rotation back in where Balk makes its way all the way back across. Elliott Horde understands that if he just waits here and sits on that back shoulder, he'll get an opportunity to cut back across. Exactly what happens. The tactical changes. Could Fresno make them and really start to exploit this line? This isn't when it happens. This is still when they're sitting in the 5-back system. But it's an overlapping run by the guy coming back from injury, Alex Cooper. Gets into a one-on-one situation. Can't really play it to Jackson on the back post. Hard angle on the front post, so why not just go all alone? Tries to tuck it in back behind Josh Cohen. Can't make it happen.
And Partain, a bouncing ball right in front of Cochran. You very impressed by how he was able to keep this out.
You can see from this angle, watch this ball gyps just at the tail end, right at the bottom, boom. As a goalkeeper, you're already rotating one way and you're accounting for the space on either side of the goal to then bring your body back across it, and the dip on the ball, quite difficult for the netminder, able to save it. Trailing run by Kamawasa, felt maybe he had a second say about it. Much ado about nothing.
Well, here are your halftime stats. While Fresno banged the woodwork, no shots on target yet. And Cohen unchallenged. Cocker's made a couple big saves.
Better run of play for Sacramento overall. Fresno looked better for probably the last 8 minutes or so as they switched into that 4 flat in the middle of the field, and that'll be interesting to see what Simon Elliott does. Does he stay with the 3 in the middle and the 2 holders in Sari and Partain, or switch things up a little bit? Really like the look we saw against Reno. We'll dive more into that in the second half, but the Quails have to feel good for the most part about how they played in the first.
Well, we mentioned it at halftime. Salute to Service Day in Sacramento. And new members of the United States Army being sworn in on the field, taking their oath. This was minutes ago during halftime. Thanks to all those veterans and first responders and current servicemen and women who serve and protect throughout our country. We've got new recruits among you as we take a look at the Sacramento Republic upcoming schedule. Portland Timbers, too, are no joke, Devin. They're a very good team. And for Sacramento, a chance to move higher up the standings, and they could jump Portland in that game.
T2 right now, for my money, the best challenge to Phoenix Rising in the West. Right now. Now, obviously, things will change. You could have made that argument about New Mexico United a few weeks ago, but right now, T2, you know, Fresno, they tied them. But it was a comeback by T2 at the late end. First half was pretty by Cameron Knowles' squad. And take a look at what Fresno will challenge now, and there it is, New Mexico United. T2 familiar in that argument as well. Austin Bold at Austin Bold. Only lost 1 time this year at home. Marcelo Serrano squad had nice defensive unit. Steve Cook, OKC Energy FC. They'll have their hands full this weekend. First and foremost, second 45 minutes and what can be done and what cannot be for both of these squads, looking to continue some momentum. Sac Republic quite impressive over their past few until going down recently to Reno, and Fresno trying to stay on their nice little run of form. Multiple ties and then back-to-back wins over San Antonio and El Paso. Can they make it 3 in a row? This one would have to be on the road.
Well, we were interested to see what kind of changes could come at halftime, and Fresno does make an adjustment going into this second half as Jaime Chavez comes in off the bench, essentially a second striker, and Mickey Daly, who got in that shoving match with Stefano Bonomo shortly before halftime, comes out. So Strong will continue on with Del Campo in the back. Ball slipped ahead, maybe early returns. Luwal deflects aside, and Luwal will take a corner from that.
Mickey Daly exposed a little bit at the tail end of that first half. Del Campo will go next to Cooper. Strong just inside Hayden. Immediately high press. There's Sam Strong coming off of the back line. Well done by Chavez. Playing underneath the wall, trying to spring him in. A good recovery by Sacramento.
First time Daly has come off in a game this year. And this caught by Cohen. And the press for Fresno in transition. Wins the ball back. Kuramoto. Jackson tried to pull the ball through. There's some pretty inexperienced pieces in the lineup right now for Fresno. Martin among them, although Martin has come such a long way. This is 15th appearance, 12th start of the year. Kaffa back into the starting lineup after a couple-game hiatus. Cooper back after a 2-month injury spell. And the service in front is good. Bit ahead of Luol. Good defensive header for Sacramento. Appeal for a handball. The entire Republic bench is arguing the case there. I've really enjoyed watching Bonomo's movement over the course of this game.
He's trying. He's definitely trying. The way that the middle of the field has been congested, it's quite difficult for him to find any of the paths. The ball coming into his feet at a high work rate, an engine that we saw most recently in that game against Fresno in the Open Cup, where the kid never stops. In the extra time, 120 minutes, we would play 2 extra, and at 1:22:07, he would find the back of the net. Always on the go, and that's what you have to do as a striker up top sometimes. When they can't find you in transition, they can't find you in possession. Got to go ball hunting. The biggest concern would be him tracking too far out of the position, but he's still playing quite high, which is impressive. He's doing a good job maintaining that presence up top to stretch the back line while still allowing Kamiwasa, as well as Elliot Horde and Sam Werner on the outside wings, to have a little fun of their own.
This is all the way down. Well, there's the Fresno bench. They recently made an addition to their coaching staff. I'm not sure that I see Jesse Science on the bench, but Devin, it's something Adam Smith has told us about constantly. They had 10 hamstring injuries last year, and they had a few more already this year. Science was brought in, a former Sacramento Republic employee. He was actually in Sacramento working with a chiropractic practice. He was previously at Hull City in the Premiership. The head of injury prevention. They don't have him full-time, but he has helped out at sessions and has provided a few new approaches to try and keep these Fresno players healthy. Devin, you think back to last year, if the fullbacks don't get hurt, you think to this year, Cooper, Jackson, Johnson have all dealt with soft tissue muscle injuries. You just wonder how good this Fresno team could be standings-wise over the last 2 years if everybody wasn't hurt that had pace. As this got out.
I said to you coming in that they're probably the quietest team at the top of the standings in the USL Championship.
No doubt.
They don't blow anyone off the map and turn heads, fireworks, as we'll allude to the 4th of July. They don't put you to sleep either. They kind of make you guess on a regular basis.
Slipped ahead and off the knee of the defender. The flag is up.
I'm actually quite impressed with what Adam Smith has done in that area. I already mentioned that addition, and what he's done in some other areas as well. Chatting with him a few weeks back, it was actually just prior to the Open Cup game, with the ability to kind of, as players call him, the head doctor.
More on that in a moment as Luol settles. Up by Kaffa. Sets up nicely here. Kaffa chooses Cooper. The cross to the back post gets out. But yeah, they've got a psychologist that comes in, every Monday, win or lose. And they just sort of, at times, will hash it out. At times, whether it's the team or an individual, try and get everybody's head and mind right.
You don't want to turn it into Pavlov's dog, where it's condition response. And Adam, we joked about that with him. Wasn't exactly remembering of the analogy. He said, I'll have to look that one up. We did explain it, and yeah, you get into these guys' heads and get a much better understanding of how they're feeling, how their bodies are going, the mental fatigue they're dealing with. And yeah, it's more appropriate too that it's not always after a loss. It's not always after a win. They keep them guessing. I also respected Adam Smith in the fact that he's not in on those. He does not sit in on those meetings, that he allows his players to have the freedom of expression. And then also the one addition that wasn't necessarily one person, but video review said that they had the opportunity this year, especially at home on the far side of the stadium, add a second and third camera, get different angles, and have the ability to have the team to break down their performances a bit further than they did in 2018. It's obviously showing in results in 2019.
Last year, Fresno finished 12th in the West on 39 points. They're at 28 points right now. They were great at home at Chuck Chansey Park last year, especially after June. In the end, Adam Smith just felt that the lack of the two fullbacks, Cooper and Ellis Hayden, was devastating. They were looking for a patented number 6, that out-and-out destroyer in the middle of the field. They had him. Now Seth Moses has picked up an injury. He had surgery this week. Add a screw to his foot. He'll be out a couple months. And they are looking at potential replacements at present. Bonomo. Partain. Gomez. Iwasa for Gomez. Covered by Sari. By Jackson. Steered out wide. Chance to serve. Bonomo. Header. Right at Cochran.
Easy pickings for Cochran. Is just not enough power. He's trying to go after the look we saw just inside of the minute mark in the first half. We really attacked the ball, not the case here. Lovely again by Sari coming out. Well done by Shannon Gomez. Just recognized this ball needs to be put out into the channel and put back across. Let one of the big boys up top go get it. Sam Warner tries to make that happen. Like to see some more rotation out of Warner and Elliott Horde, alternating sides here.
Del Campo, Cochran, over Martin, right to Cooper. Does look like Martin's moved more into the left in this second half.
And Cooper actually flip-flopping a little bit, where Martin will occupy the midfield position when they're really maintaining possession, and as they go in transition, Cooper's playing the higher line and Martin's sitting. How about Sacramento Republic, though, and kind of the topsy-turvy year that they've had? Started hot. 3-1-1 in their opening 5, to be exact. Wins over OKC, Colorado Springs, and it cooled off. It was that loss to T2 where things started to turn a little bit. They went 1-4-1 over their next 6. And there were some questions being asked of what exactly was going on out in the West for Sacramento Republic. And the Quails never questioned themselves. They continued their Open Cup glory. It was really that Reno loss, that 4-1, that kind of gave you a head check. And they would turn around with inside a week, repay them in a 1-0 victory over Reno. There would be one more loss to El Paso and Mark Lowry's boys, but then from there, they've really never looked back. They've done quite well up until the recent 2-0, and we still talked about how they were probably the better squad against Ian Russell's boys last week.
Free kick coming for Sacramento. Another look at the foul.
Kappa doesn't agree, as stepping all the way back up. It's their center back playing really high, going with the forward, and Stefano Bonomo. Bonomo, we said, has been a bit of a wanderer with the lack of distribution into his feet.
Flipped ahead by Mahoney. To flick that on. It's away by Kurimoto. You think about it, 3 wins in the last 4 in the USL Championship for Sacramento have helped them back up the standings a bit. They could be level on points for 6th with games in hand at the end of the night if they find a way to get a winner here against Fresno. Oh, excellent from McCrary. Horde puts on his dancing shoes, got the cross away, fell to Partain. Looked like that leading touch was going to put him right into a volley. Instead, Fresno firing out of the blocks. This has started to go end to end. The game's opened up in this last minute. But after allowing 4 goals twice in a 4-game span, felt like they did need to look at themselves in the mirror. They beat Fresno in that crazy 122nd minute game winner in the Open Cup. Sacramento enters the penalty area. Partain levels it back, and this deflects en route and gets out. Werner was looking to curl that home. Sacramento corner in the 58th.
Did we not just say 2-3 minutes ago? I want to see a flip-flop by Werner. Comes all the way over to the left side. Watch him cut in here and then rotate right back around the top of the 18. Sees Partain. Quick little 1-2. Lovely little layoff by the number 7. Werner tries to hit it with the instep near post. Great recovery by Fresno.
Stands are starting to gyrate a bit, and the corner will have to wait. But for Sacramento, that win against Fresno, maybe not a turning point. Simon Elliott called it more part of the arc of the season. It does look like it's the part of the arc of rising action. Corner, header lifted up by Kenan. Kenan thwarts the outlet. Nice ball flicked back. Lawal looking for Cooper. Jaime Chavez has had a couple of really mature plays since coming on at the half. The whistle was late, but Del Campo is going to go into the book for this. Leaping over the top of Bonomo.
Surprised, to be honest, that it didn't come on the last challenge after overstepping 3 times in the first half. The one that was undercut about 3 or 4 minutes ago, and this time once again to look for Bonomo. He keeps coming deeper and deeper, and the center back goes with him. It's going to have space in behind if Iwasa can get involved on one of these flick-ons that Bonomo finally gets through and doesn't get whacked to the ground on.
Free kick, Partain will look to knock this back across. It's steered out. Head, Chavez, runners coming, good step over, and the cross aimed at Lawal. Martin. Elijah Martin again. Hoffa's rotated way out onto the left. A little slow to recover. Chavez battling away at this. And a throw for the Foxes. Turned over here, and it's Werner. Trying to run all the way on his lonesome. Well done by Jackson Gonsalves, the man who spent 6 years in MLS. It's a high arm rotating around from Kudus Lawal.
once again. This is one of those frustrations we talked about, how he's one of the one who constantly drops back and just really disrupts play at certain points in time, but to be honest, more often than not gets himself in trouble. Ends up giving an opportunity to the squad to reset themselves and really get an idea of what they want to do going forward. This one will be a set piece just inside midfield. Cutest Lawal
yellow card was issued in the
again pick up a yellow.
20 from Fresno FC.
It's his third in 14 games. It's Mark Briggs who put Adam Smith on the scent with Kudus Lawal. His agent reached out to Lawal and essentially said, hey, he needs one more chance. That may have been all Lawal was going to get. He's raw, but just wanted to see a little more professionalism from him. They've gotten that. Awasa slid away by Strong. Werner, Awasa. Knocked ahead, Kafa on the run. And Kafa goes down under the challenge of Bartain. It's a clean look, and Martin trying to knock it off of Horde. Play will stop for a sub.
Fresno FC substitution in the 64th minute. Leaving the bench, number 18, Alex Cooper.
Jamal Johnson, as Tyler Terrence says, only scores bangers, huh?
It's ridiculous, the run of form that he's been on, the strikes from distance that he's hit. OKC had to hear from it, unfortunately. Of course, what he was able to do, San Antonio, just brilliance from distance as well. Dropping him from 30, 35, 40 yards out. Love what he was able to do distribution-wise in that match against T2. And his role that he's starting to play, where used to use him on that outside one-on-ones that you see out of Werner and Elliott Horde. Now they've tucked him in a bit more, and that's all the systematic approach. Trying to get an Englishman involved a bit more going forward, not necessarily just dropping him from 40 yards out.
Free kick coming for Sacramento. First game for Alex Cooper in 2 months. What did you make of that performance?
Good.
Agree.
Impressive. Yeah, I mean, when you're coming back from injury, you always have to be eased into things. And he did well for himself. How about 25 minutes in, that one-on-one run on the far post, and he did a good job. Just have to continue his progression on now.
Werner lifting up, header steered back across the face of goal and away. Kainan continues to be a target in the final third on those set pieces.
Tries to just float this one in, get pretty with it. You can see CJ Cochran sees it out the entire way. It's a lovely little ball in, but never enough pace to really challenge the goalkeeper. Alex Cooper, interestingly enough, had actually, to be honest, moved into the midfield role. Elijah Martin was in front of the other back three, but now with Jamal Johnson coming on, Martin will 100% be that marking back on the left side.
Jamal Johnson's not playing outside back?
No, that's not a look that's going to be good for the former Man U man back in the day.
34-year-old was in pursuit there, and it's a throw for Fresno. Yeah, Jamal Johnson, a Manchester United youth, ultimately finished his development at Blackburn Rovers and did appear a half dozen times in the Premier League for Blackburn. About 100 minutes there. Played against Tottenham, Middlesbrough, Bolton, and against Manchester United. Eventually, that was his most recent appearance in the Premier League back in 2006. He's played all over, in truth. For Mark Lowry and Tony Meola in Jacksonville. That was his first foray to the U.S., the NASL, Fort Lauderdale, New York, Jacksonville. He's found a nice home in Fresno. Here's Jamal Johnson. Johnson lets this run through. Ultimately had a little too much pace.
Really like to see Simon Elliott's boys open things up here with the struggle they've had a little bit here in the second half. Opening opportunity coming out. We saw the initial chance by Stefano Bonomo at the start of this game and really maintained some decent possession. Very sorry. Hayden Partain still trying to find a way to spring Iwasa and Manu on a regular basis. That hasn't been what's been going on, where Iwasa sprays this out now. Can you find a way to counteract this flat middle of the field that we've started to see out of the Foxes, where Martin goes to the back line. Kafa and Karimoto start to sit flat, and they'll go into a diamond as well. But it's just been more difficult for them to find the windows to play through. This is where I really like the look last game out, and I talked to Simon about it as I said, listen, you know, I saw a bit more of an inverted triangle where Ray Sari was sitting. You allowed the pivot man in the number 8 position to help as a 6. That would have been Villarreal. Drew Skundrich would also get involved. And those three really had a nice relationship. That isn't the same here tonight, where you can see just struggling on a regular basis. It's one-offs where Sari can spray that ball outside. Hayden Partain just now playing the one ball. But there's no depth to it. It's 1, 2, 3. They're almost on top of each other in a straight line. And when you don't have the ability to stretch the midfield a bit more, when it's so flat like this, it's that much more difficult to really find the edge to play through in the final third. That's where they have lack of opportunities here in the second half. Most of them come against the run of player from set piece opportunities.
Partain fouled by Jaime Chavez. Ultimately said we like the starting points, right, of that midfield. Partain is slotted in as one of the changes in this game. Horde as well, where typically we would see Villarreal and Skundrich.
And to be very clear, the way that the midfield was set up last game, different than this game.
Yes.
You have two out-and-out holding midfielders right now. That doesn't mean Partain's not capable. We've seen him play the 10 before. We've seen him play at the 7 and the 11 before. A guy who has all the offensive threats if he wants to. But just can he help it go when need be? Can you get 5, 6, 7 running downhill? That's what LA was asking for.
Slide at the end. Took out Iwasa as he released it. It'll be a corner for Sacramento. And another change here in the 70th minute.
Substitution in the 70th minute. Leaving the match, number 26.
Horde out.
Horde.
Horde's 8th appearance of the season. Who's
Replaced by number 20.
quite the following in Sacramento. Vilian Bijev comes on. Native of Bulgaria, who moved to Fresno at 5 years of age. Dusseldorf and Liverpool player in his youth days. It's an opportunity to make an impact against his hometown club. All lofted, punched down, and knocked back in front. I'm not sure what Cochran didn't see about that ball, but somehow that didn't get to him the way he expected.
That's the second guessing we were referencing in the first half, where if you want to be involved in the topic of conversation for midseason, but more importantly, end of the year awards as one of the best goalkeepers, cannot make decisions like that. You come as a goalkeeper, you want to punch, that ball comes 20, 25 yards away from the net. But to be fair, that was easy enough to collect with both hands. Just sit on it and let your club regroup.
That was about 82 at the start of the night. I could swear it feels hotter.
It's a bit warmer now, isn't it?
It is. Gets out. Derby for the hearts of those in the Central Valley in Northern California. Jaime Villarreal comes in. Hayden Partain checks out. Bijev and Villarreal both started in that game against Reno on the weekend. I would imagine that for Sacramento, more than anything, it wasn't a bad performance, more just pure squad rotation here tonight. Chance here to get forward. Chipped across the wall. Knocks it back. It's just behind Johnson. Does it mean the attack is over? Well, now the attack is over. Put over by Ellis Hayden.
Fresno FC substitution in the 73rd minute.
Change coming in the 73rd now.
Number 20, Hiatus Lawal.
And once again, little frustration bubbling over. How about Diego Casillas coming on? Guy who played for what used to be called the Fuego, then Fresno U23. Casillas for Lawal.
It's an interesting change down the stretch for Adam Smith. Would think that if things play out, possibly move. The extracurriculars continue on here.
A red card has just been shown, and Deckel Kainan was the player who appears to have received it here. Well, there was a scuffle at the edge of the penalty area that was developing as the substitution began. And at this point, Simon Elliott not really arguing the point, rather trying to get everybody ready to play with 10 men for the last 17 minutes. Highway 99 Derby's got another new piece to the rivalry. Oh, he goes to the face against Jaime Villarreal, and rather Chavez. Chavez has also been shown a red card. So there's Kainan. And then Chavez was shown 1 seconds later.
You pull one off on the defensive side for Sacramento, and strike one for the visitors as well. Chavez needs to do better in this situation as Kainan grabbed Jackson and Chavez both by the face, and it was done. The play was over. The referee was already making his way to you. Why? Why, I'll ask a third time, are you making a mistake like this where you have an advantage?
Let me say this. Adam Smith would never in his life make the substitution he just made if he knew his striker was going to be sent off seconds later before the ball got kicked again. This is a total meltdown for both players that's almost unimaginable. I'm shocked.
Was musical chairs on the sidelines from a substitute role anyway, and then Simon Elliott, you saw him pull Cam Iwasa over as captain to really restructure these guys and figure out how they're going to finish it off. There's one look with Villarreal rotating back over. For the moment, you can just see a bit of a three-back system for Sacramento, though. Don't necessarily think that that's how it'll finish.
All flicked onward. Werner trying to do all he could to keep that in play. Kainan and Chavez both sent off. We're playing 10v10 for the final 15 minutes of Wednesday night soccer. All 3 subs are in the book right now for Fresno. There is one more sub available to Sacramento. Jackson, Martin, Johnson, McCrary is there. Covered by Kaffa. Martin. Johnson. Martin crossing, header in! Fresno takes the lead! How about this? Casillas off the bench! His first Fresno goal!
Fresno FC goal scored in the 77th minute by the 20th.
What in the world are we watching right now?
And Lawal just having a little early Gatorade water shower, if you will, spraying his boys with a bottle of water. Massive amount of rotation. Tactically coming off the bench, then the red cards come in. Jackson goes to the left side. Jamal Johnson goes to the point man. Curdy Moto still pulling the strings in the middle. Everybody forgets about the back post run. Diego Casillas all the way across from the backside gets his first pro goal and a substitute role. And guess what happens for Sacramento Republic on the back line? Ray Sori has to apologize to Matt Mahoney for what has gone on here. He had actually tucked himself in to the 4th defender on that back line with the departure of Kainan. Visitors out in front.
4 years in USL League Two, the former PDL for Diego Casillas. Last year, they kept a close eye on him with the U23s in Fresno in the PDL, now League Two. And Casillas off the bench with his first goal in the championship. And meanwhile, Sam Werner is down on the field. He's injured. He's making his way off. And Aleman is waiting to come on for the Republic. The wheels have entirely fallen off this game.
This substitute actually started before the goal with Werner down in the background, and you wondered if he was going to be able to get up and continue. After the goal happens, you wonder if, okay, maybe we go after Tyler Blackwood, throw him up top, a bit more firepower. But when you lose the midfield play of Sam Werner, have to find a way to supplement it. Aleman hopes that the answer is in his direction.
By the way, RIP Fresno Fuego, a great League Two franchise, kicked away by Strong. That goal is all Fresno. It's Martin to Casillas, both former U23 guys. That was the Fresno dream, the fever dream of Frank Ellup in the ownership when they decided to jump into this project in the championship last year. I asked Adam Smith specifically about those two guys earlier this year. He goes, they're hungry. They don't get paid a lot. They just want an opportunity. Bonomo, and they're struck by Awasa off target. And ultimately, it's those guys who are underpaid, over the years undervalued, earned significant minutes, going on the road to Sacramento, where Fresno has never won. Not that they've had a lot of opportunities. Trying to end a 3-match losing streak in the biggest geographical derby match that these teams have. And they're the ones who give Fresno a lead.
Just remember the ghosts that are still sitting in their closet of what they have done over the past few games. Remember that, my friend.
Yeah.
The Open Cup game against Sacramento Republic, the game at home against Sacramento Republic, the ridiculous 3-3 draw that was Tacoma Defiance at the tail end of it. Even the banger Jamal Johnson scored out in front, and then OKC Energy FC, T2. I mean, how many examples do we have to give where they just couldn't close games out? Adam Smith knows that. So they're out in front. First professional goal for Diego Casillas, but still have to see this out.
Simon Elliott looks on. Last year led the most defensively stingy squad in the championship. Casillas, the go-ahead goal. Trying to stymie a side for Simon Elliott that's won 3 of 4. That boot got a little elevated. Villarreal, and a free kick for Fresno. To be fair, Kaffa dropped his head down near that boot. Lifted over the top. Bijev in pursuit. Able to play it away from Cochran. Bijev waiting, lofting, header back across, drops down. Aleman.
This is why he was brought on. It's the ability to change the game in a moment's notice. Second opportunity. Kept saying, when was Bonomo going to get somebody else on the end of one of these flicks? This one goes straight up in the air, but still a chance. It's one of the odder drop downs you'll see underneath the score bug with both teams playing with 10 men. Not regularly seeing opposing factors thrown out at the same point in time.
Just 10 minutes ago, it was during a substitution by Fresno, the K9 center back, and Chavez, the center forward, both sent off for pushing each other in the face. It was not the first time emotions had bubbled over in this game. Aleman slides it through, great ball, brought down Bonomo, and the offside flag is up. And of course, 4 minutes after the 2 red cards, Diego Casillas, who was the substitute during that intermission where the red cards occurred, scored.
He gets it right here. BJev trying to flick over. Bonomo, offside position. He's in the midst of walking back. Let's do it quickly enough. As all the white shirts had stepped forward right to the top of the 18. Well done by the linesman. Just wonder, with 6 and change to go, any magic left for this Quail squad, who had plenty of opportunities in the first half, especially opening 35 minutes, was quite impressed. That's been tailored to another direction now.
Iwasa, well done by Casillas. Back down to Mahoney. It was a thoroughly rotated squad on the day from Sacramento. Team that have been to the playoffs every year of their history. They're in 9th right now, and in the expanded USL championship table, they're still in the playoff picture. Top 10 get in now. There's 7 expansion teams, widening things out a bit more, but they'd be in a playing game on the road if things ended the way they did today.
You and I had the opportunity to be a part of one of the press packets to pick mid-season or full season awards, favorites, this, that, and the other. I picked them coming out of the West.
I did too.
I had them as the team to beat. I felt like with all the additions that Simon Elliott has made, as well as some of the core players that he had kept, they had the best chance. That's no disrespect to anybody else. Just felt like they had done the most work with what they had and then brought in so many good pieces, and that just hasn't taken shape so far.
Well, Adam Smith, I think, kicked the ball away and inadvertently hit one of the essentially deputized officials at the official scorers table, and then went over to check on him. I think this is the first time he's ever been booed at Papa Murphy's Park as a former assistant. I can tell you, next time you and I talk to Adam, this will be a topic of conversation. He's gone over to check again. This ball hit from the halfway line, and we were looking for a Frank Teu repeat from last year.
Difference is this is hit about 10 yards short on this side of the pitch, and Frank Teu was about 60 yards away, 10 yards on the other side of the center circle. What a wonder strike that was. Both he and Cameron Lancaster in about 8 days.
Yeah.
Cameron Lancaster, New York Red Bull, and Teu from distance as well, trying to go for goal of the year.
All lofted, knocked away. Was it Ledesma or Al-Badawi who hit that ball against Ottawa for Cincinnati last year from the touchline? Like
Kenny Walker.
Kenny Walker, right?
Kenny Walker, half volley off a ball coming out of the air, right over the top of Maxime Crépeau,
who was the best goalkeeper in the league last year. And was with the Canadian national team for the Gold Cup. Full international goalkeeper got lobbed. Although I will say, real quick, if you could sign Frank Teu on a 10-game contract, you're going to get dividends. After that, historically, not so much. Free kick here, Sacramento. William Bijev. Header knocked down. This time, Cochran claims it on the bounce. McCrary was sniffing at the edge of the 6-yard box.
Del Campo on the ground again. The goalkeeper, you just have to wonder what's going through his decision-making process. Lovely ball swung in by Bijev. Just a great job, and see him stop, steps, hands up in the air. Gray area is putting it politely. Cochran not on his best tonight, and to be honest, has gotten quite lucky. The Quails haven't broken through.
Bijev, solid first touch. Rips that over Bonomo. This is a throw for Sacramento. Public looking for a late equalizer. Aleman is fouled. Free kick Sacramento, and they should take their time here.
As good as they've been, and they haven't found that game-tying goal yet. Thought maybe they would have gotten the go-ahead in the first half, but with Bijev on the pitch, just stand on it. Not many an opportunity going to be left in this match. Take your time, allow the big bodies to get up in the box and occupy a bit more real estate. And really just throw something into the mixer. Cochran has been questionable in his decision-making.
This ball struck at Cochran. Owasa still on his knees, I think, was making a diving attempt at it. Cochran throws this out as an injured player is down. Boy, Bijev, he's got style, doesn't he?
He just whipped this one in with pace and felt maybe any one of his players running through could just deflect it off and get it past the goalkeeper.
I was talking about his hair. You're talking about the texture of the ball.
No, anybody that has better style than me, I have to move on. I can't give them credit. This is the opportunity. Lovely one just before. Another great ball played in. Just look at where he drops this thing. Right inside the 6. Needs to be about a yard closer. Well, you can't be that nitpicky, can you? Kemi Wasa big to get tangled up and felt maybe he was pulled just a bit. Referee's not going to blow a penalty in that situation, though. Fresno just trying to see this out.
Sam Strong struts off the field. You want to talk about a grown man. Sam Strong is not a guy you want to meet in a dark alley. And yet they were considering sending him on loan, and it still will be interesting to see what they do when James Geffrard returns from Jamaica, or rather from Haiti, another semifinalist.
I've said that I'm about to have a lot of really good problems in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
International duty and guys coming back from injury. Seems like they were quite thin a few weeks ago, and now all starting to take shape. And if you can see things out like that, and you're only 2 losses through this season, 7-2-7, start to pick up some of those draws, turn them into the great offensive movements they're capable of. All those points start to set up. Said we need to emulate Phoenix and rattle off some of the wins that they've been able to do. Simon Elliott feeling the same.
Up by Martin. Now Martin lofts it out. We were expecting 5 minutes. The fourth official now saying 4 minutes. Martin is down. Simon Elliott storms over to the fourth official. He's expecting more time. Well, 2 red cards and a goal. Wouldn't be a total surprise to have seen 5 minutes.
What's the shoulder on the tail end of this? Jordan McCrary just leans in, elbow out, catches him right across the temple.
Ball bounces down, Casillas clears. I don't think there's anything. I think both are trying to protect themselves going into that, no?
That's also, you're not far off, but I can promise you this, as a defender, that's an opportunity to get away with something in the middle of the field. I'm doing the same thing. It's not malicious. It's just, there's a dotted line and you can step right on it just enough where the referee's not going to punish you.
Cracked back to the top of the 18 and brought down. Sorry trying to get through. The crowd wants a foul. They're not going to get it. That was just outside the penalty area. And one thing I can promise you is these referees haven't gained a following in Sacramento tonight. I don't think they did much wrong either. Aleman caught by Cochran.
One of the big pickups, I said, with Ray Sari and his great vision. Had already pump faked once Brings it back across his body. There's Kunimoto coming across. Multiple challenges being put in. Catches his ankle, does not get the ball. That's a foul.
I agree.
That's a foul just outside of the 18. Referee got that one wrong.
Coverage battalion is not happy.
Well, there was a bit of backlash, to be honest, as you and I check the blogs and social media. Just have a go and see how people are feeling about the match, about the strike in the first half, whether it's a penalty. Go back and watch the tape. There's no way, shape, or form that's a penalty. There have been some other decisions against Sacramento, though, that have not been the best, that being one of them. Coming down the stretch, what a chance that would have been. Like Sabichev to step up and have a go. Instead, still coming from behind with Kaffa trying to kill the clock off.
Throw, Fresno. Sacramento have won 3 in a row against the Foxes, including the knockout in the U.S. Open Cup. Sacramento had a chance 35 seconds into this match to get a lead. Narrowly missed on a header right in front of goal. Martin. Foul by McCrary, and it's a light one. Free kick, Fresno. And they may have effectively whittled all the time off the clock. Yellow card comes out. Goes to McCrary.
The yellow card was issued on the 90th minute to number 30 for the
First round pick of the Revs.
That'll be a area Simonelli will now have to pay attention to as he picks up his 4th on the year. Remember, he hit that number 5. Have to take a seat for accumulation.
Well, Ray Sari has 5, but got one taken off for good behavior. So he's on accumulation warning. That got out. So we're well past stoppage time. And I would imagine Sacramento would at least have a chance to get this forward. Maybe Academic. Casillas. Johnson. Jackson. Well, it's all up to the referee now. Full time, Fresno goes on the road to Papa Murphy's Park. Scores in the final 15 minutes, the first pro goal for Diego Casillas. And Fresno ends a 3-game skid in the Highway 99 Derby, and the tempers continue to overflow. Or do they?
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Happy 4th of July from all of us at Sacramento Republic FC.
Diego Casillas' first professional goal. Former U23 player, spent 4 years with PDL League 2, making his way up to this. You can tell just how much this means to him. What a tremendous moment for a young man who's been just all heart and determination according to these coaches. And for Fresno, they keep a clean sheet on the road. Highlights, stats, so much to cover when we come back to Wednesday Night Soccer.
Republic FC fans, be sure to grab your Jiffy Lube discount.
Happy 4th of July to those in the Eastern and the Central time zone. For everybody else, wait your turn. With Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, Wednesday Night Soccer, as Fresno holds on a 1-0 winner and finished 10v10. Diego Casillas, the game winner. Devin, let's take a look at the full-time highlights where Sacramento got an opening look in the first minute. First good look for Fresno comes in the 13th minute after Bonomo's effort, the first minute for the Republic. Jackson strikes it off the post.
Second chance opportunity that came back across, and the story of this game is going to be the what-ifs, what could have been for Sacramento Republic. How funny that we were just saying that weeks ago for Fresno and the matchup against each other. Not the Open Cup, but the league play back in early May. And there were chances, plenty of them, for Sacramento Republic. Just couldn't finish things off. Hayden Partain finally getting an offensive movement going forward. Said, could he get out of that holding midfielder role, become part of the attack? That downhill movement Simonelli was looking for never truly broke through. It turned into half chances in the second half where set piece opportunities would come more involved in the run of play. But again, just never really anything breaking through. This was the odd sequence of events where Kanon gets involved, smacked Jackson in front and Chavez as well. And both of them get thrown out. 73rd minute. Man on the back line and man up top, the number 9. Take a seat, we go down to 10 men. Everything turned into musical chairs. And just wondered exactly what was going to go on. Massive amount of movement. Both coaches using all of their substitute roles. And how about Diego Casillas, the man, the Fresno contingent, just getting an opportunity. Adam Smith said all of these guys so proud of their lineage, and why not? First professional goal helps out to the win for the Foxes on the road.
And the bad blood continues. Goal in the 77th minute, 4 minutes after the red cards. Devin, let's say this. These stats are mirror opposite to what happened last time these teams played, right?
It's quite interesting in that match. Fresno, the better team, the better run of play, the better opportunities. Sacramento Republic wins on the road. This time around, Sac Republic home squad, they maintained everything on the positive side. Better possession, more shots on goal. They won every single metric except for that one at the top. 0 goals. Goals win games. Unfortunately, they couldn't find the breakthrough. Fresno do. They take the victory. They take the 3 points. We said they had to find a way, get involved in the rivalry. They've made a bit of a statement.
Tacoma is in dead last. Real Monarchs have a new coach. Things could get crazy on Wednesday Night Soccer being played on a Friday.
Real Monarchs, 3-game win streak. Guess who comes to town this weekend? New Mexico United. So they'll be coming off a really interesting matchup to a chance where maybe they can make it 5 in a row. Never know. Regardless, a very talented squad just looking to get back on track as they've been relevant in the Western Conference for quite some time.
And of course, Devin and I will explain just how much we love that new Defiance logo. It really is something spectacular, isn't it? As Wednesday Night Soccer continues on Friday, July the 12th on ESPN3. Happy 4th of July. Thanks to all those who continue to serve our country. 2 coaches going back and forth tactically. It was interesting to say the least. For our director, Gage Tillotson, producer, Ava Ponte, Jonathan Tellicher, and our entire Vista World Link team, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts saying thanks for watching. Fresno off the schneid. 3-game losing streak in the rivalry is over. Fresno a winner on the road over Sacramento on Wednesday Night Soccer.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.